Hi and welcome to my channel. Now normally over the last 4 years I've been doing videos about hi-fi. I'm kind of winding the channel down and looking back on some of them videos and some of the views I've been getting, a video kind of stuck out, and that was a video about double glazing, about repairing a few bits of double glazing that, you know, when the drafts coming through, putting the exclude around and all that. And that's been sitting on my channel for 2 years, and that is the third most popular video on my channel. It's got the most hits and earns me the most money. And that's been on there the least out of the other two, the two higher ranking ones. They've been on there nearly double the amount of time. So I should imagine in a few years' time, that video that's got nothing to do with hi-fi is going to be my best video. And on that, I was sitting here and it's getting cold now. And I don't want to be patronising or anything like that. I just want to give my opinions. That there's a videos that I've been looking around on YouTube, and there's not many videos about onesies, these kinds of things. And I'm getting old, and I enjoy my onesie, and I wanted to tell you the benefits of it, especially for older people, shall we say. I mean, it's come to my attention. I do look around the internet, and obviously a lot of young people in poverty and etc. and are struggling to pay the eating bills, as well as old people, exactly the same. And you know, as you read in the papers etc., a lot of them say either eat, as in have some eat round you, keep nice and warm, or eat. It's one of the two. Can't afford to do both, and you know, this may be for both kind of people, younger people as well as older people, but I think maybe it affects older people more. It kind of affects me more to what I can remember when I was a kid. You know, you're kind of like full of life, got plenty of energy and all that, and you can kind of keep warmer easier, shall we say. Now I'm getting older, the old bones are getting thinner, all that kind of stuff, blood's getting thinner, all that kind of stuff. You feel the cold a lot more. And I can remember my mum sitting there, not really getting out of the chair a lot, and sitting there quite cold with drafts, etc, etc. Now, at that time, I never even think about buying my mum a onesie, never entered my head. It's just over the last couple of years I've been using it myself, because I sit about doing nothing in the evenings, watching a bit of telly, etc. And we all know the eating bills are going up quite a bit, so you know, if you can sit there and turn them down a little bit, you're going to save yourself a little bit of money. And saving money is pretty much what this channel's all about. But obviously, you know, I thought maybe draw your attention to, you know, maybe why it's a good idea to buy one of these onesies, because they're not expensive. Like I said, may have mentioned, it's a bit like the air fryer really. They've come right down in price now. I think Asda here in the UK was doing one for about 25 quid. And if you haven't got one, that is quite a game changer, but it ain't for everyone. But yeah, so like I say, I just want to draw your attention to these onesies and what kind of results am I getting with mine, and why I think you should maybe consider getting one if you're older, or you're feeling the cold, or you know somebody, you've got a relative or something like that that's feeling the cold. Maybe it's an idea to get one of these. Are these so much different from a dressing gown, shall we say, or putting more clothes on? I know, you know, a lot of people say put some extra layers on, all that kind of stuff, which works well, can be a bit, you know, uncomfortable, can be like kind of cling you down kind of bit, a little bit, something like that. But these are so easy. You just slip these on. You could have a t-shirt or whatever undergarment you've got on underneath your pants and all that kind of stuff. And this keeps you warm, even though this one doesn't go, your toes pop out the bottom. You can put a couple of extra pairs of socks on, or thicker socks, a pair of slippers and that. And this really keeps me warm as toast. I must admit, this really does keep me warm. And if you're indoors and you've got your central heating on, like you can't afford to turn it on, shall we say, or you've got it on very low, I just want to kind of bring up a couple of points as well on that. If you don't mind me saying, is that be careful. You know, if you've got a condition like an health condition or something, you still want to have your heating on at a reasonable level. And looking on the internet, it does vary from depending what you look at and who kind of gives the advice, etc. But the kind of estimate is between 15 and 18 degrees. That's where you should be ballparking your figure for your heating. So try and have it, I would say, a minimum. I'm no expert, so don't really take a lot of notice of this, but try and have it a minimum of 15, especially if you've got health conditions. You'd be breathing in that cold air, which isn't going to do you any good long term. I know you go out in the cold, sometimes you walk about and that, but you're not there all day, and it may bring on some kind of like bronchitis or something like that. You know, it may bring on a condition that you want to stay well clear of, because the last thing you want to do at the moment, especially here in the UK, is visit any hospitals, because the wait to get in and sorted out and all that is absolutely horrendous. I remember years ago, my mum waiting 18 hours on a trolley out, you know, just in the corridor to be seen, that kind of stuff. So, you know, if it's worse than that now, I dread to think, I honestly do. So that's the last place you want to go, is hospital. So think about it, you know what I mean? I know it's an outlay. These are not expensive. I've seen them as cheap as £8, but obviously you get what you pay for. I think you're going to get a reasonable one, something like this. It's quite furry. quite nice for about 20 quid, somewhere around there. Like I say, it makes a good ideal present. If you're a young person coming over here and you've got a granddad, grandma or something like that, it's an ideal present. And why not get them too? Because you can sweat a bit. And the reason I haven't got this on today, I do keep an eye on my temperature. I never let it really go down less than about 16 in the house anyway. I move about quite a bit, but in the evenings you sit back and you can kind of feel any drafts coming in. You can feel it on your legs, you can feel it on your chest and all that. But wearing one of these, you do not feel that, and it's quite warm. You feel quite cosy, snug as a rug. I'm going to talk all about that as we go along. But at the moment, it's 19.3. I was going to wear this for the video, but I'm going to be sweating as I go along, so I thought I better not do that, as be sweat pouring off me everywhere. But I do feel the cold, so it's actually got up to 19.4 because I touched it. But yeah, so I just want to talk about a few things that, I'm no doctor or anything like that, but I think you should consider getting one of these. Like I say, you're going to save your money in the long term. Now they reckon if you turn your heating down 1 degree, depending on what you look at, these are so like all over the place kind of figures, but you're going to save between 5 and 13% of your energy bill, obviously in the winter. You're not going to save anything in the summer because you won't be walking around with one of these in the summer. But if you're talking about electric and gas and whatever, I don't know what the average household is to eat the house for for that evening, that night, depending on how long you've got it on. But what I will say is, when I used to live elsewhere, electricity is a lot more expensive than gas. The total difference between eating my house a little while ago, going back just over 2 years, was about £10 a day I was paying electric. I had them kind of storage heaters, not great. £10 a day, and we didn't have it on all day, we just had it on a certain amount of day, and we don't have all the rooms neither, we just had certain rooms or room heated up depending where we were. When we come over here to gas, this is a slightly bigger house, but the bill goes down to half that to heat, and we've got a few rooms rather than just one room being heated. So there is a vast difference there between electric and gas. So depending what you've got, depends what kind of percentage you're going to save. But if we take for typical these days with prices going up and all that kind of stuff, it's costing between £6 maybe an £8 a day to heat your house at certain times. Now with this, if you're going to save say 10% of that per day, you would save yourself 80p a day, and all them days added up starts making a saving. But I think you're probably going to save a little bit more than that, because you're probably not going to turn it one degree. If the average, I don't know, you had it before was 20, you're probably going to get away with knocking it down. Don't forget that minimum ballpark figure, 15 degrees. You could probably get away with 15, 16, maybe 17 degrees, bringing your house down in temperature, which is going to save you quite a bit of money on a daily basis, and of course a lot more over the year. So your £20 investment thereabouts is going to be paid back for pretty quickly. Now this does really keep you warm. This isn't like a dressing gown or anything like that. A dressing gown, you've got gaps here, gaps everywhere, your feet are hanging out, or half your legs are hanging out. This really does, well, it does me anyway. And the reviews I've been looking at and everything, etc. My wife can't wear these because she gets hot anyway, and one of these would be an absolute nightmare. But they do keep you warm. Like I say, I've got 2 of these because obviously you sweat up a little bit in these, so you want to change them on a regular basis. So while one's getting washed, you want another one close by. And I do like sitting down on the sofa watching TV, etc. for the night. I haven't got to worry too much about having the heating on. If I do get really cold, obviously I go and turn it on, but I kind of know I'm fairly healthy, so I can kind of suffer it quite low anyway. But to me, this is quite a game changer, really. It may not sound like it. You go along line and read reviews, but I thought it was worth putting a video out there just to maybe draw to attention to some people. Now, what I will say is that be careful, because this does make you sweat, and you don't want to get dehydrated. So while you're using one of these or wearing one of these, always best to have a drink on a regular occasion, etc. Otherwise, like, especially if you start dehydrating, you know the problems that can cause, especially when you go into the loo. Number 2, so I won't say any more, but you get the idea. Your body does that water and that liquid inside it, and if you're sweating it out through one of these too much, you may have your heating on too high, etc. So turn it down a little bit more, kind of thing. So just be a bit careful, and if you're going to actually sleep in bed with one of these as well, be careful again, because during the night you're obviously going to sweat, you've got the blanket on you and all that, it's going to dehydrate you. So be careful there, definitely keep topped up with liquids. Now you're going to save money, so what I suggest is, maybe what I do quite often is, when I'm sitting there watching the TV, about every hour or so, is make myself a nice cup of tea. Some now and again I get a cold drink, because like I say, I can get quite hot in here, and it sounds a bit crazy sometimes in the winter, you're looking for a cold drink, but wearing one of these over the last couple of years, I found that is the case. I do get quite a thirst and decide to have a nice cold drink as well, which is quite nice in the winter. It's not something you normally do, I don't think, if you're sitting there freezing your nuts off, shall we say. So yeah, so there you go. So just a few things to be careful about, I think. Keep hydrated, and rotate these round as well. Try and get 2 if you are going to get one. Get one to see how you get on, see if you think it's going to save you money. You're going to be able to turn your heating down a few degrees, etc. And obviously, when you go and make these cups of tea, it's getting you out of the seat, especially if you're old now. You don't want to be sitting in the seat all night long. You pick up sores, all that kind of stuff as you get old. I know that through my mum, etc. But this is quite nice as well. You know, I'm not saying this is going to cure any sores or anything like that. I'm not putting any claims. I'm not selling these or anything like that. But this is quite a nice, like, it's a thickish kind of material. It's a softish kind of material. Probably just gives you that little bit more of a cushion, that little bit more less of an impact on your skin, on sores as well. I'm just saying it may do, you know what I mean? It may just help a little bit. So yeah, getting out of the seat, making yourself a cup of tea. And that's something you can afford to do now as well. Because some people will be scared to turn the kettle on. Most cups of tea and or coffee, it's going to cost you about 2p to boil the kettle. But if you're saving over the course of the day or the night or whatever, saving yourself £1 or 50 pence, you know, it doesn't matter what you save, that little bit extra. Then making them extra cups of tea for 2p a time. If you made, I don't know, during the course of the evening, 5 or 6 cups of tea, it's only 10 pence. I know the tea and sugar costs money, but you're saving that easy and more by wearing one of these. So I just wanted to say, draw your attention to this. Not something I normally do, but there's so few videos about on YouTube about these onesies, and I think it can be an help, especially like the way things are going and how people are finding it hard to eat their homes and actually eat stuff as well. And just another little tip on eating stuff as well. You know, if you've got a very low budget, beans on toast, spaghetti on toast, something like that is a great cheap meal. It's cheap to make, it's cheap enough to go and buy, and it doesn't use a lot of electricity or gas when you actually come to do the toast or you actually come to eat the beans. Just another little tip I thought I'd throw in there. So that's it. So yeah, definitely think about these onesies for yourself. You will save money. You'll turn your eating down straight away, not unless you're actually sitting there absolutely freezing at the moment, and you think, well, I'm going to turn it down even more because you've probably got it as the lowest as possible. But this will definitely keep you warmer. And what the main thing I noticed about this is the draft. Any drafts you've got in your house, you know, when you sit there and you've got your lap all of a sudden becomes cold, your legs become, top of your legs become cold, or across your chest becomes cold or something like that. You do not get that with this. It just gets rid of all that, so you're not forever like thinking, oh, I feel cold, and that's no good for you. That feeding cold and draft is definitely no good for you. You've got to keep your body, this main part of the body here, at core temperature. Otherwise, it doesn't fight disease. It doesn't fight things. The way it can fight stuff goes down. Yeah, so make sure you keep your core temperature as warm as possible. You feel nice and comfortable. Like I say, don't sweat too much. If you're sweating too much. One good thing about that, most of these, they've got zips and that. You can kind of temperature control them to a certain extent. If you're getting too hot, obviously undo that zip and that. You don't want to be sitting there sweating away. Make sure you get plenty of drinks, etc. While wearing one of these. So not many people mention that. They think, well, this is nice and cosy, I'm lovely and warm, I don't want to get up, don't want to do anything. Get up and do something. Get up and make yourself a cup of tea or a cold drink, because you do need some liquids inside you, because this will make you sweat under, you know, if it gets too warm, etc. That's it. Yeah, definitely think about it. And I just want to get that point across, you know what I mean? It's not about me making a video and making money and that. It is really about putting that point across, that these are, I think, you know, good value for money. That they're pretty cheap and they're worth considering. There's going to be obviously people that don't get on with them, etc. But I think, you know, a lot of people will see the benefit of these. Quite a long video for what it is. But that is it. Until my next video, I'll say thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon.